everybody, welcome back. We are jumping right in today talking about hairstyling and haircuts and all of that invites when you are someone with a hard of hearing and wear assistive technology like we do. Something people probably don't even think about. So we are on Zoom. I want to acknowledge that for people watching. You're used to seeing us in person, but we both have colds, so we didn't want to pass the cold
Yeah.
back and forth. If we have the same one, we don't know, but just in the interest of preserving ourselves, we decided to record from Zoom today. So if my voice comes in and out, or Brad sounds a little, stuffed up, that's why. So we are still speaking. We are still working together. It's just
For now.
get it apart in our own houses instead of here together. So anyway, so we're gonna dive right in talking about hair. So Brad, I'll have you start because I feel like your hair is a little less high maintenance than the deal that I have to do. So
Just a lot. So,
take it
I
away.
hated getting my hair cut because like I would just go to like great cuts and stuff, and I've never been really fancy with my hair. It just bring it down, right? But like I have to every time I would go, even if I had the same stylist, I would have to
Yeah.
like wait until they put the cape around my neck and then very obtrusively take my hearing aids out to
You
like
never
show them
self-identified, or
that
you just
don't small talk. So yeah, no, I haven't I've only so like I didn't self-identify until like 3 years ago. And so like I didn't this is one of the cases I didn't think I needed to because they're
okay.
standing behind me so they can see them, but I have to take them out. So I thought it was obvious enough. But even being really obvious about it, they would still try
Yeah.
to do small talk and I couldn't hear them. And it was just really frustrating. So finally, I want to say like 6 or 7 years ago, I bought clippers, and now I do it myself. And so if the back of my neck is always ever like that, it's because it's really
Yeah.
hard to get the back of your neck. But it's just so much easier because like I hated it. It was so stressful to even if I self-identified, I feel that they would forget because like how I can't be more obvious because they're standing right here. And I'm taking my
Right.
hearing aids out and I put them underneath the cape so they don't get hair on them, and they would never remember. But I never really had like a single person that I go to. Like I think Julie, you're going to talk about yours.
I do.
I
Yes.
never had one that I went to because I didn't need anything fancy. I went to like Great Cuts or whatever the heck it's called, and it was
Yeah.
like a $20 haircut. It wasn't. I didn't need anything fancy. I have to get my hair cut like once a month because it grows so quickly, and it was just. It wasn't at a certain time. It was just less stressful and cheaper for me to cut my own hair, and so that's what I've been doing for 5 or 6 years now. So that's my haircut story. Is there's not much to
And
it.
then in terms of like everyday styling, you probably don't do anything except wash it, right? And out the door you go.
No, I don't do it. So I actually do more for my beard than my hair. So
Yeah.
like I have beard butter to like kind of make it a little softer because it's more coarse beard hair. But like my hair, I just wash it. That's it. And I like at this point, at this length, I don't even have to comb it because it doesn't do anything. Anyway, so this is one end of the spectrum, and here's the other end of the spectrum.
Right. So if you're watching, you all know I'm very particular about my hair. Like
Yes.
my hair is my thing. I am 50 years old. The rest of my looks are going straight to hell, but my hair is my thing. So I am very lucky because I have the world's most fantastic stylist, Kathy Troiano, and I'm going to make sure she sees this. She is hands down. Not only is she super talented with what she does, she understands my coarse, crazy mind of its own hair, and cuts it so beautifully. And her kindness, generosity, and sensitivity to my hearing loss, it can't even be described, and I'll try. She's just so kind and thoughtful. She never forgets. She lets other people in the salon know that my hearing aids are out if other customers are trying to talk to me or the hairstylist. She always faces the mirror so I can lip read her, and she speaks in a louder voice, and I can always understand her. She's so aware of not putting her hands in front of her face or turning away from me, nonverbal signals. And what I love the most, every single time, this is so sweet. After she washes my hair, she gives me an extra towel so I can dry my ears off. And
Oh,
she always makes sure my hearing aids have a home. Like I didn't have my bag last time. She goes, no problem. Put them in this drawer. We'll make sure this drawer stays closed. There's no loose hair in here. Nothing. I could not ask for a kinder, more compassionate person to handle this mess of my head and accommodate my hearing loss without even thinking twice about it. I mean, she's just remarkable. So if anyone out there is looking for a hairstylist, whether
yeah.
you're hearing impaired or not, Kathy's awesome. She's right in Woburn, phenomenal. And Brad will tell you my hair always looks great, and that's because of Kathy. Like she just keeps me in good shape every 8 to 10 weeks. So Kathy, thank you for that. That's not always been the case. Other salons, like again, Brad, if I don't self-identify, forget it. I mean, this is what I deal with if I go
Yeah.
to get my eyebrows done, get my nails done. I have to be very upfront and loud about it because people, and even then, people still forget. So, Kathy, thank you for being so amazing and making it a very stress-free process. Now, in terms of what I have to do to style my hair, Brad, I
Mm.
don't have the luxury of just washing and walking out the door. Bad things happen when we do that. I have naturally curly hair that's also wavy and very coarse at the same time. My ancestral lineage is Italian. I don't know what they were doing in southern Italy to create this mop that my head becomes. So I have to shampoo it twice, condition. Once a week, I deep condition. And I have to squeeze the excess water in my hair. Right when I get out of the shower, I'm going to get a white tooth comb. Then you talk about beard oil. I got my oil for my hair. This thing right here is magic. This elixir goes in. Then I have to let it air dry till it's about 75% dry. Because if I take a hair dryer to it before then, it'll poof. Can't poof.
No
So then
proof.
we dry it. Then we take the hot brush and we smooth it down. Then we grab the flat iron and piece it out and make it look lovely. Then we put more goop in it to make it hold and look as good as it does for a couple of days, and we start all over again. So it was already labor intensive, but I can't put my hearing aids in because my hearing aids can't get wet. So I think what people don't think about is like I get out of the shower, can't put my hearing aids in. I have to wait for this to dry 75% of the way. So that's a good 45 minutes to an hour where I'm roaming around, not hearing anything. Then we got to get the hot tools out. Sure, I'm not gonna, put that near any hearing aids, right? So I got the dryer and the whole thing.
Yeah.
That's another half hour. Then I have to wait for the flat iron to heat up. So that's another like 5 minutes. Then the flat iron gets involved, which can be anywhere from like 15 to 25 minutes, depending. And we're working that through. So it's a good, I lost count, probably a good 2 hours every time I wash my hair that I am in silence because, water is the enemy, right? So I'm going to start there. Can't even risk
Yeah.
putting them in, even when my hair is drying. So of those 2 hours, I'm stuck in the house. I can't go anywhere. I can't hear anything. I can't listen to music. I can't talk to anybody. I usually just, get stuff done around the house that doesn't require hearing or communication. Or if I watch something on my computer, I'll put captions on with no sound.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm dealing with a lot of in between time. Think about it. That's like a good chunk of your time that you can't do anything because you're at the mercy. Well, no one's at the mercy of my hair except for me. And yes, I know it's a life choice. Before anybody starts in on me about, oh, you have such beautiful curly hair, blah, 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 blah. I am completely aware that these are choices I am making of my own vanity. I know this. But trust me, if you had my curly hair, you would not have the patience to deal with that either. It's a whole other thing. But then too, like even after I style it and it's done, I gotta put the anti-humidity spray on. So I can't put the hearing aids in yet either. So I've got to do the spritz. It's a ritual. I got to tell you, after about 30 minutes of this, like usually I get started, like I get into this thing, about 30 minutes, I start getting aggravated. And I'm like, is it worth it? Is this worth it? What are we doing? Just cut your hair off. Just be done with it. And then I calm down and then we continue the ritual. It's a whole thing. And I don't think people realize how impactful it is when you can't just put your hearing aids back in and go on with your day. And that's why I usually wash my hair at night because it's just that much
Oh,
easier.
yeah.
So I do most of the routine at night, and then in the morning I'll do the final flat iron and styling, and then out the door. Luckily, when I style like that, I can get away with 2, maybe 3 days of not having to wash it again, and just update with the flat iron piecemeal here and there, and then we're good. So it's not an everyday thing. I
Okay.
think I go crazy. Inevitably in the summer, I have the annual epiphany of I'm going to embrace my natural curls. Let me tell you, that lasts like a day and a half. I said, forget this, because that's also problematic. Because with curly hair, you have to style it when it's soaking wet and then let it dry.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm still not getting any
Yeah.
time back. So it's like, you know what? I'm a better person with chemicals. Give them all to me. Make my hair. Give me all the hot tools, and away we go. That's it. That's what we're doing. So that's my hair. It's something. I envy you, Brad.
Yeah.
Others
I understand how lucky I am to be a
doing this.
guy.
That's my own vanity here. I recognize this. I know this is a lifestyle choice, people. Anyway,
So I'll say that the one thing I wanted to ask you is like I know when I have to cut my hair is because the hair will start rubbing against the microphones and it bugs me. So like with your hair, do you have the rubbing on the microphone?
Notice I'm constantly putting my hair
Yeah,
behind my
yeah,
that reason because when it falls straight over, it's the rubbing, and then I can hear the hair
right,
moving
yeah,
and rest on top of the microphones. And I can also sometimes get like some feedback too, a little whistling, not as much, it's more like sound, for lack of a better description. That's what that
yeah.
sounds. Constantly, if you watch me, I'm always pushing my
Yep,
hair back, or parting it and making
yep.
it go back a little bit more. My glasses on my head because I can't see anymore. Those actually don't get in the way of the microphones; they fit behind it.
Behind it, right between the
Yeah,
ears. Yeah.
but yeah, my hair. Watch next time; you'll notice I'm constantly pushing it back for that reason.
Yeah, because it bugs the hell out of me. Sometimes, like if I go too long and I'm just walking and like moving just a little bit jostles the hearing aid. Right, the hearing aid isn't the one behind. It's not just standing there. It's moving around as I'm walking, and so when it gets too long, it rubs again, and it's so annoying. So like
Really,
yeah, it's really. I tried to get some covers to make my hearing aids more visible at work, but they weren't the right size. So I had them on there, but they were shifting constantly, and I had to take them off because it was just too. Yeah, it
stereo
was
sound.
too much. It was too
I don't
much.
think people realize how loud that is.
Yeah.
I
Oh,
mean, it is
so loud.
amplified for
Yeah.
us. Really, really loud.
Right.
It's not like a faint static in the background. It
Yeah.
is like full on. Somebody is crinkling a bunch of, I don't even
Yes.
know, tissue paper like right next to your head.
Yeah.
Like handfuls and handfuls and handfuls of it. So yeah, that's the best way I can describe it.
Yeah. Good description. So yeah,
Yep.
I don't know how you do it, but if it's worth it to you, more power to you.
That's it. That's it. I can't give it up yet. We'll see. So yeah.
Yeah. But I'm glad you
Anything else?
found
Oh God,
somebody
I was doing it
who
again. I almost forgot about books again. Oh my God.
oh, books.
Say goodbye to everybody. I almost forgot about books again for the second
Did,
time. I'm
you want me to go? Do
talking.
you have one? Do you have one?
I do.
You good? Do you want to go? Go ahead.
I go. I gotta tell you, Brett, for the people listening at home, it is so hard to record on Zoom
Yeah.
because I'm so used to being in person that the sound delay
Mm-hmm.
and like the quality of hearing your voice, and I'm sure you hearing me, plus we're both sick, doesn't help. It's really I'm a little stressed.
It's not so think about the time the conversation a conversation is all about timing, right? A second too
Right.
long in silence, a second too quickly talking over somebody, just we're button heads. And so
Yeah.
there's a delay over Zoom, but there's also a delay in our brains, right? In the hearing aid. So like it takes an extra millisecond for us to hear what the other person is saying. So as hard as Zoom is for normal people, it's even harder for us.
And I talk fast,
You
and God
do.
knows I have a lot to say, and I cut you off on a daily basis anyway. It is really hard. Like I'm feeling like stress, and I think it's important for people to hear that. Like it feels like the vibe is off a little bit,
It is.
and also like you talk about too, the hearing it, which I still find fascinating. The brands of hearing aids, the sound is proprietary.
Right.
So how I'm processing the sound and the delay
Hmm.
coming through probably isn't identical to what you're experiencing either, which is throwing off the timing.
Right. It's subtly different. Yeah. Yeah.
So hopefully we'll both be healthier soon the
Yeah.
next round. Okay, I'll go first.
Go first.
This is the original. Oh my God.
Nice.
Little big words, Laura Ingalls Wilder. Need I say more? This is my copy from when I was a kid, published in 1971. I checked the copyright before we came on. And this is the book that I read as a little girl. And I have the whole series, all the original books when I was growing up. I've saved them all. So it's really nostalgic for me. And what I love too, besides just it's so rich in its language and the way she weaves together her story of growing up and the lifestyle back then and such rich vocabulary and the way she wrote, at least for me, she illustrates it so well that I always imagine that I was there with her, like at the maple syrup coming out of the tree and making the maple candy. And oh, it's just so good. And forgot his name. Garth Williams was the illustrator, and he was also the illustrator for all of E.B. White's books as well. So it has that little
Oh, I
connection
thought it looked familiar.
too, which is kind of cool. But it's just great. Of all this entire series, I have to say my favorite is probably Little Town on the Prairie. Of all of them, but Little House in the Big Woods is where it all starts. It's just so special. One of my bucket list goals is to go to her grave and see Pa's grave and follow the path the family took across the Midwest. That's a bucket list item for me. So hopefully one day I'll be able to pull that off. But so good. I never liked the show, funny enough. Little House on the Prairie, the TV show, no use for it.
Interesting. Well, I mean, the book is always better. I mean, that's just.
So highly recommend. Maybe I'll reread these again over the winter. Every
Oh,
couple
there
of
you
years
go.
I read the whole series for fun. Well, like a little nostalgic thing. So yeah, love it,
Cool.
love it, love it.
All right, so I'm going
That's
to
my
go off in a completely different direction. My book is, where is it? Because Internet. So what it is, it's a book by a linguist that investigates how the internet and technology is changing language. So like for example, one of the chapters is on emoji, and people can talk in emoji, just only emoji. And so, like, are we going back to like hieroglyphics because emoji are becoming more popular than words in texts? So it's fascinating to see how technology has completely changed the way the youths talk these days, right? So I'll have sometimes on Teams, we use the Teams, Microsoft Teams to chat at work, and sometimes Danielle and I will try to have entire conversations with using just GIFs. So it's a fascinating. I think I've proven by many of my book choices that I'm a big word nerd, and that's a fascinating book if you like etymology.
Thinking about that, you're right. Like when texting first started, all of a sudden we went from words to those abbreviations.
Right?
Like the
Yeah.
YL to talk to you later or whatever. Like figuring all that out. Now you're right. Now we're down to pictures and short clip. Like that's so interesting.
Yeah. I mean, we've been using so like those talk to you later, TTYL is a initialism because you don't pronounce it as a word, but like scuba, right? Scuba is an acronym because it stands for self-contained underwater breathing apparatus. So
That's what
it's fast. We've been doing that for decades, if not centuries. That we're just making up words based on initials and stuff like that. And so we've constantly been shortening because people talk quick, and so the shorter the word, the more you can say. And so this is just the technology involved in shortening words and stuff.
Do you find that to be an easy read, or is it more of a technical read? Like for everyday readers, is it something that people would pick up and enjoy, or is it?
It's not the hardest linguistics book I've read, but it is a little challenging at times because Gretchen McCulloch is the author, and she's a linguist, and so like that's what she does for a living is investigate how words are used, and so there's a lot of like technical jargon in it. She's pretty good at breaking it down, but I will say that it's a bit of if you're not used to reading like linguistic terms and stuff like that, it can be a bit of a struggle at times. Some chapters are easier than others depending on what she's talking about. Yeah, so that was it. That's my book.
I will never read it, but I appreciate you sharing it. You will benefit from the knowledge that you gleaned from it, but I guarantee you that it's never a
That's
book I'm going to
fine.
pick up.
That's
You
fine.
enjoy it. Let us know all about it.
Okay.
Oh, all right. I think that's it for me. I don't have
Yep.
anything else.
I don't have anything else. No, I'm really impressed to hear about Kathy. I think that it's great that it doesn't. Not everybody does it, and it's constantly. Now that I've been more self-identifying, it's a constant struggle to remind people because it's not a one and done deals. But it sounds like Kathy's just taken it to heart, and it is a one and done with her. She just knows it's just part of who you are and how she needs to interact with you, and that's rare. And so, go Kathy.
And what I appreciate so much about it again is that it's so natural and so genuine.
Yeah,
And it's done in such a way that's so matter of fact. It's not like a pitying, it's not a,
yeah,
oh, poor you, dear, well, we're going to take care of you. And
yeah.
so respectfully done, even with other people in the salon. But she's like, oh, yeah, she can hear your hearing aids are out. I so appreciate that because
Yep.
you don't want that awkwardness of some woman in the next chair, like making a joke with their stylist, and you're not part of it, and then they think you're ignoring them. So Kathy is just on it. So she's on
Great.
it. Kathy, again, thank you for keeping me looking good and your kindness and accommodation. So appreciated. You're awesome. You're the best.
Excellent.
So,
Well, I think that's a good a time to any to say good night.
all right. Thank you, everybody. We'll hopefully be back soon.
Take
Take
care.
care.